In Making a Change news, submitted by Love from France.
I like making a difference, except for like things that go bad because of the difference.
True. Yeah. Oxford University has introduced a mandatory exam on ethnic minority history to diversify its overly white curriculum.
Where's Oxford University? Is that in the England?
Mm-hmm.
I think that university is older than either the Aztec or the Mayan Empire.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, and it's older than the temples. Whether it's like the Mexican pyramids or something like that. That's crazy, huh? Fun fact.
So Oxford University, they're introducing these exams to their students, to their history students, undergraduate history students. So before they were only required to take 2 papers on British history and 2 on European history. And so last year there was a lot of protests saying, like there was like this campaign going around saying like, why is my curriculum white, like so white? So then that's when the school now has sort of responded to that in a way by...
Why don't they just play hip-hop in the class?
Hip-hop will teach you history of minorities?
Mm-hmm. Hip-hop, and then you write English papers.
Hip-hop and karate.
Yeah. Bam.
Yep, that's all.
Karate for PE, hip-hop in the classroom, and then Mexican food for lunch.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I'd understand U.S. universities because we are a nation of immigrants and a lot of non-white people contributed a whole lot to this country. But I'm not too sure about like British history. I know that they one time controlled a lot of countries and they exploited the fuck out of non-white people. But then I don't know anything about their history.
Are they trying to reference like black people or Indian people or anything like that?
Exactly, those 2
like notable British.
Yeah, so like
black
for example,
There's a ton of black and Indians in
like Seal
in Britain. Yeah.
Kissed by a rose on the grave. You know that song?
Yes.
Baby.
Yeah, he's British.
Yeah. So yeah, they're saying that potential topics would include like Martin Luther King Jr.
But he's not British.
He doesn't have to be British.
It's black history.
History.
Oh.
Yeah, and like the 1960s civil rights movement, and like and like Gandhi and the Indian independence.
That's British.
Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking like we don't learn about non-U.S. history things, even if it's multicultural. It's all U.S. history stuff.
But at university level, it's different.
Depends on the major, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I think maybe for them this is notable points in history. So I think Martin Luther King wasn't just fighting for civil rights in America, it's for the world.
Like
I think
world history? Yeah.
I think that's why it's important too.
So they never had this shit before?
Never.
That's crazy.
Like the mandatory, like to make it a mandatory part of the curriculum in order for you to graduate with the history major. They've never had other ethnicities like history to be.
So they were just studying like Eggs Benedict the whole time.
Sure.
Who's a notable like British person?
Winston Churchill.
I know him. He liked the cigars all the time.
And also James Bond.
Oh, but I like the old one.
Oh yeah.
Not the new one. The old one had class.
The new one doesn't. Why?
Like Sean Connery old?
Yeah, Sean Connery old. So old. When he was young.
We don't know jack shit about British history.
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
No.
Yeah.
I know the Beatles.
The Beatles.
The Beatless?
All I know is for U.S. history, everything that they taught us about the British were bad guys. The redcoats are coming. That's the bad people. So I don't know anything about them. I just thought they were just all white people wearing the Quaker oatmeal clothes.
Yeah.
And they brought slaves to the U.S. That's all I know. They did all the bad stuff.
Really, I'm surprised you're such a history buff. You don't know more?
I just know the old stuff. Like the Game of Thrones stuff.
Like like Lannister always repay their debts.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I know historical facts like that.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on the fact that they're diversifying?
I think it's dope that it's the white people or it's the non-whites that are complaining about this.
What do you mean?
Is it like the white people that are like, hey, our stuff is white centric, or is it the black and Indian students that are like, hey, this is too white?
Well, they have a majority of white students. They're saying that back in 2014, Oxford only had 27 black students in like the entire school. So yeah, the majority of the students
Are white.
seem to be white, and that's why there was a campaign, about them complaining like, why is my curriculum white? But yeah, there was also a lot of protests because they wanted to remove a statue of a Victorian imperialist named Cecil Rhodes, and that like there was this entire protest trying to get rid of his statue, like because of what he represents and all that stuff. And so that's why the college is saying, or the university is saying, we're not changing our curriculum because of those protests, but it just seemed like it was time to change our curriculum. But they don't want to give
I'm
credit
just surprised
to
that
those protests.
they didn't do any they didn't do any history that's multicultural history.
I don't think
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. I don't think that's what she's saying.
Really?
She's saying mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory.
So they probably had electives for all these other history classes, but to make it mandatory.
But I think it should be mandatory. So I think like in U.S. Curriculum, I think world history is mandatory as a prereq.
So that's why they're changing
Yeah,
it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So I
but
think
it
why
blows
did it
my
take so
mind that
long?
they barely got to it.
And this is one of the
We've been
most
doing this-
renowned
yeah.
schools. It's like, imagine like MIT was like, finally we will be teaching Spanish, or I don't know, something that's like, wait, what?
No,
Everybody been doing
it's
this
kind of
shit.
like Harvard saying, finally we will be studying Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's exactly what
like
it
you
is.
haven't been studying him yet?
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because you know what's crazy though is that here in the U.S., people had to like get into fights and riots to get the multicultural like electives in. So the Asian American Studies department, African American Studies department, gender studies, and all these whatever. It all started in Berkeley. And they petitioned, the cultural clubs petitioned the administration to get it in, but they wouldn't. So then they protest, and then the protest turned into the cops just coming in and beating the fuck out of the students. And then the students had a lockdown, and it turned into all-out war. Wow, crazy stories back
When
then,
was
man.
that?
In the 60s. Yeah. I watched a documentary. It was about the Black Panthers, and there was Asians inside the Black Panthers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And another crazy thing is in California, we're kind of spoiled because we go through high school learning about, our culture's contribution to this nation. So we feel like hella American, right? But in the Midwest, East Coast, South, they don't teach anything about Asian American studies. No one knows that we're actually a part of this country and we helped out like for a long time. We've been doing a lot of shit here, guys. We've been here for a while, but no one knows.
That's true, because we learned about that, like Chinese built railroads, and
You guys
then
were here
there's,
since like the 1800s.
yeah, but no one else knows. So when I go to the Midwest, they still call me Mr. Chink, and I'd rather be called Mr. Railroad.
You were probably here way longer than their families were.
Yeah.
Even Chicano studies and stuff, like Cesar Chavez, not the salad, but they don't even learn about
Chavez is a Cesar Chavez salad?
Yeah, they don't learn about the Cesar Chavez salad with the chicken. Yeah, they don't, nobody knows nothing. So it's interesting, even within the States, they don't fucking teach that shit.
Maybe if they actually taught that, there would be way more unity.
Maybe that's why they don't want that shit.
Because if the curriculum is so region-centric, then we're missing out on a lot of good stuff that we don't know about. Like, I barely know anything about Louisiana, and I didn't find out that Louisiana had a huge French influence until you guys went for the first time. And you guys were
really?
telling me, like, there's so much French influence in the cuisine and all that stuff, and it's supposed to be, like, Cajun mixed with French food. I'm like, oh, what? See? I wish I would have known.
Yeah, it's so true because Casey mentions like him growing up, like he only learned about history like in the Southwest and like
About the
Texas.
Alamo?
Yeah, like only like Texas history. They didn't teach him much
Yep.
about what we learned.
That's why
over
Casey
here.
only smokes Marlboro.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he only rides horses.
Yeah, all my Asian friends that I knew like in the Boston, or like my roommate, Kevin, he's from Boston. He said growing up, he didn't know nothing about like Asian American studies. They don't study that shit in Boston
We've been here
for a long time.
for centuries.
I don't even know if this country's existed that long, but wait.
Yeah, 1700s.
I just remember reading about Asian people in Hawaii that were like doing the sugarcane stuff, harvesting sugarcane.
I think
in the US.
the West Coast and Hawaii is the only places that teach that curriculum of the minority helping.
That's not why we're not united.
That's why. That's true. So maybe we have to change like the curriculum or something, you know?
Dude, we should petition. All the elementary schools should learn about what every single ethnic group did to contribute
Yep.
to the Americas.
I want to learn about how the Portuguese people brought us the bread. I want to learn about how Italians brought us the Goodfellas.
The
I wanna
mafia.
yeah, I want to learn all that stuff. I want to learn how, you know, like the Vietnamese people, everybody has nail salons.
Yeah.
Every nail salon all over the country is owned by a Vietnamese person.
And then the Cambodians with their donut shops.
Yep,
You gotta learn that stuff.
yep.
It's history. We need to be educated.
And how the hell did Chinese restaurants find their way in a little town in Colorado?
Everywhere.
They don't even speak English. Hello, Mata people. Do you want to contact me and everybody else you see? Go ahead and check the description box below and follow our social medias, Instagrams, and Twitters. For more videos, click up there, baby.